we have to be wary of criminal justice reform. Because criminal justice reform, unfortunately, can often seem like the humane way to roll back the prison state, but it can often just make the Leviathan, the monstrosity, the state violence stronger. So to give a few examples, prisons themselves emerged as a reform. Prisons were developed to be more humane than corporal punishment and capital punishment. It was thought that we could reform prisoners by locking them up, that we could actually make their lives better. And one of the worst practices that's used in prisons was developed for this express purpose. Solitary confinement was proposed by Quaker social reformers as a tool to help prisoners be able to have silent reflection. I'm going to sit alone in a room and I'm going to think about myself and what I've done and how I can be better and how I can commune with Christ. And that's going to be a great thing. It's going to make me a better human being who can reintegrate in society. But we know now through a lot of psychological research that that's not what happens. And we don't just know this as libertarians. The establishment knows this. Juan Mendez, the UN Special Rapporteur on torture, knows this. Psychologists know it and report on it in their literature. And even our enemies, even people who have never met a government intervention or a war they didn't like John McCain, recognize that solitary confinement is soul-crushing torture. John McCain knows it because he lived it. So if one of the worst things that prisons do to people resulted from a reform, resulted from the best of intentions, we need to watch for how our best intentions could make the world a whole lot worse and could usher in a better carceral state. And that's why we need to always keep our eyes on the prize. We should be envisioning possibilities for prison abolition and for direct action outside the state, rather than for reforms that once filtered through the political process will be distorted by concentrated interest groups like prison guards and police unions, like prison profiteers and companies that profit off incarceration, and like rationally ignorant voters who just want the state to protect them. Let's build alternatives and route around the state so that the incentives are there for our solutions to interpersonal violence to be responsive to the individual unique needs of local communities, rather than the political demands of interest groups. Reform has many pitfalls, and while abolition may seem more dangerous, I would argue that prison abolition is the practical plan to reduce crime and build a society with true justice.